Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties. Please stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties. Please stand by. This has never happened. It's not showing the video. Okay, everybody go out of the room. I'm going to send you a new link. This has never happened. Okay, everybody go out of the room. I'm going to send you a new link. It's the only thing. All right, I got it. Come back. Hi, guys. We're having some technical issues. I do apologize. Stand by, please. I'm turning off my camera for a moment. Go back where you were using the right link. It's working now. Same place you were just at. Same link. Okay. Okay, Paul, I'm bringing you on. Same place you were just at. Same link. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Carolyn.
Hi, I've got my camera off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Carolyn's Corner Live. I'm sorry about the technical issues. I figured out what it is. Each time we have something that we have to figure out. The reason you're not seeing me tonight is because I came down with a stomach bug, so I will not be able to stay for the whole show. My husband will be helping me. It just hit me this afternoon, so I'm very, very sorry. Paul, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you wonderfully.
Good. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Paul Gallagher. He's going to start off the show, and he's going to bring on everyone. So, Paul, take it away, sir.
As you can see, everybody, we have a nice thing going on with Carolyn. She's having issues of the thing of the sort that we don't discuss. But anyway, Paul Gallagher here, Carolyn's Corner Live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I would like to bring on our co-host, Jerry Bradley. Bring him on. Show him. Click him on the screen. There he is. I had to do some magical stuff here, Jerry, because I don't know what's going on there. You know, Carolyn's not feeling too well, so I guess we're going to be running the show, which is going to be different.
That's fine. Because we got a wonderful guest tonight, Papa Tommy. He's going to come in and just amaze us. I've been friends with Papa Tommy for a while, and he is absolutely hilarious. But he can also tear your heart apart with some of his songs. So, or he can make you roll on the floor laughing. He's got some funny ones too. Matter
Oh,
of
that's
fact,
awesome.
Papa Tommy's got a bunch of songs. Really.
Well, that's good. I don't think I've heard one song of his yet because I've been on the road working, trying to get stuff taken care of there. Well, you ready to bring him on? Let's bring him on. Let's go ahead and
That's good.
start this show off. I'm not a talker like Carolyn. I'm not going to sit there and just carry on like a 30-minute conversation with about somebody. I just want to see their face. There we go.
Papa Tommy, welcome to Carolyn's Corner. I'm so glad you could join us
you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an unusual circumstance. Normally, Carolyn's over here having a nice conversation. I'm Paul. I'm one of her good friends. It's basically co-host the show, and then of course you know Jerry, of course, because Jerry said he listens to your songs, so you know him. Y'all get along great, awesome. I'm basically going to be here, kind of stepping in for Carolyn tonight, and introducing you. I heard you have wonderful songs. I can't wait to see the videos or I'm not sure exactly what Carolyn has set up here. So yeah, Jerry's probably gonna do most of the talking tonight because he knows you and he can probably ask the wonderful questions, and I'll probably step in and ask a few of my own questions. I and I love that picture that when it came up because it almost reminded me of what's it that the not the blue the I can't remember his name now. See, I'm a horrible music person here. What's that guy's name, Jerry?
Willie Nelson. I don't know.
No,
I don't know
not
where
Willie
you're
Nelson.
going.
I'm thinking
Waylon
more
Jennings,
with the black guitar and the baseball.
Johnny
bat?
Cash.
Right.
Johnny Cash.
Some people have seen me. Jerry Garcia.
There you go, Jerry Garcia. That's who I was thinking.
Tommy
of.
Chong.
Yep. That picture, because I was like, man, that's a crazy picture. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and just start getting it. Well, hello everybody. Everybody's jumping in here now. Kimmy saying hi. Shandiki saying hi. Hello.
Hi, Papa Tommy. Kimmy said hi, Papa Tommy.
Yep.
Hi.
And I don't normally have the. So I guess before we start on the videos, because it's like this is going to be a very unusual show for us because Carolyn is on the other side still controlling the videos, controlling everything. Me and Jerry, that's gonna be fine.
We just have to tell her when to do what. Hey, Papa, please forgive me. I don't have your cheat sheet in front of me.
Tom.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say exactly. I know you go by Papa Tommy. I know we call you Tom. But no, I never did catch your last name because, well, we never talked about it over the internet.
Yeah.
And Carolyn didn't send me that little bit of information, but that's okay because we've been friends for a long time. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now.
Okay. My name's Tom Trephy. I've been playing guitar since I've been about 7 years old. I'm going to be 75 in a couple of weeks. So I just played for fun, and I never let it go. I know a lot of people that have long stretches, sometimes years, where they didn't play. But I think part of that was because I started so young, and it was fun for me. I started on a ukulele, a plastic tunable one, because I was too small to play guitar. And then over a period of time, my father would buy me like a studio-sized guitar as I got older, and then an archtop Harmony Monterey was my first brand new guitar, and I still have it. It's been stripped of its finish and parts, and it's going to be restored. So I've been playing pretty much all my life. Professionally, my first gig I was 60 years old. I didn't like the music business. I worked for a brother-in-law. He had a big nightclub in Lake George, New York. And at that time, show bands were a big thing. People were paying to see show bands. This is before disco. And I got to know a lot of the people who came through that town, and their lives were all a train wreck. And, we had been married, my wife and I, probably 5 or 6 years at that time. I said, I don't really want any part of that business. I liked music, and so I never got into the business. And when I retired to Florida, I figured, let me give it a shot just to play a few gigs here and there. There's so many nice venues on the water, the palm tree, the idyllic thing, almost like an Elvis Presley movie, only I didn't have the pompadour and the sideburns. So I had fun doing it. I didn't like doing it often, and now I'm not doing it at all. But I started writing right around that time seriously. I had written maybe 2 or 3 songs a year up to that point. And then I started seriously writing, and I guess I caught the bug, and that's what I'm doing. Just writing every day, going back over old songs, editing, and joining groups like this. This is one of the better groups, I might add, to learn and exchange ideas. Everybody's pretty open. Some other groups are just people wanting to post their music. I don't know if I guess you build up views or something on certain
following. Yeah.
Yeah. So I oftentimes I see the same song being posted, 2 or 3 times a week. And so, I kind of steer away from those groups then, because it just eats up a lot of your time. I like this group because people exchange ideas, and there's a couple of other groups that actually Caroline is attached to.
Right.
So.
Right, absolutely. And I see that you said you were a doo-wop singer long before it was called doo-wop. Paula, you're old enough to remember doo-wop.
Doo-wop, wop, wop. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know the doo-wop.
Yeah, I don't know when they coined that phrase, but I lived in Brooklyn, in the inner city. It was a very congested neighborhood, 3, 4-story apartment buildings, apartments front and back. It was just jam-packed with people. And so there was no shortage of teenagers singing on the street corners, harmonizing all the songs that were out. So that's around the mid-50s. And so I knew how to play the guitar even then. And most of those songs are maybe, 5-chord songs, 6 chords. And so I'd be the little kid that they'd call over to back them up on the guitar. I'd be like maybe 9 or 10 at that time, with a little amplifier and a guitar, going over to jam at my friend's house and coming home at midnight. And, everybody's hanging out on the streets. It was that type of environment. And nobody would bother me. They all knew me. So I started doing that. And, just for fun, my brother and I sang. Dion and the Belmonts were coming out a little later. But the Everly Brothers, we started doing those songs, sitting on the steps outside of somebody's house. In fact, there was this big theater in Brooklyn where they had live shows. They had the orchestra pit, really elaborate place. And they started doing these rock and roll shows. There was a DJ called, his name was Alan Freed, and he had the Big Beat Rock and Roll show. And they used to have a countdown, towards Friday. So you find out what the new #1 song was. So my brother and I are on the steps, and somebody drives up our little side street, and he hits the brakes, and he pulls over, and he had a big suitcase. They called them valises at the time. And he opened it up. And he just left it there. And he said, "Continue singing," because it was kind of odd for somebody to do that. And so we sang, and he says, "Do another." And he had a bunch of demo records, and he was an agent for a number of people. One of them I remember was Bobby Darin. So he wanted us to sing at the rock and roll show, but it was a contest, not the big show. But my father didn't want us to have any part of it. I guess, he probably knew something about, what to be aware of that we didn't. So that was my big break. And then here I am at 60 years old, starting in show business again. So it was a big jump.
Well, it looks like you've had quite a colorful history. I mean, kind of a jack of all trades. And when I look at some of your background, everything from teaching people how to disco dance, to running nightclubs, to being a doorman, to doing construction, remodeling, draftsman. So
I worked on Wall Street for 8 years.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And then I went from there pretty much to working on snowmobile trails in the Adirondacks. So So like I can master those culture shocks like nobody can. You know?
Well,
So
it seems all the pictures I'm sorry, Paul, I cut you off.
Okay.
But it seems like all the pictures I've seen of you in
Yeah.
Florida don't look like you're very shocked. Usually there's something in your hand. So,
Yeah.
you know, and your wife's right with you most of the time. And it doesn't have the umbrella in it, little umbrellas, but it looks like you're having a good time. you know.
Yeah. We used to I used to use the umbrellas a lot, but after a while it starts getting expensive going to the eye doctor when they hit you in the eye. So I stopped that.
Tommy, Tom, the first song that's going to be up tonight is "You Dirty Up Real Good." Uh,
Yes.
well, and I've heard that song before. It's pretty neat. One of the things I find very unique about you and a lot of your songs, you have very unique spins, very creative spins and hooks in your songs that you know that a lot of times I'll go, darn, I wish I'd have thought of that one. You know. So, why don't you give us a little bit about it, and we'll play "You Dirty Up Real Good."
Yeah. Well, as you know, the more often you write, things start jumping out at you that wouldn't normally, well, like cliches and sayings. You clean up real good, you know. So obviously that's a spin on that. But there's so many things in our language we talk we say casually, and they just jump out at me. And sometimes you could put a little spin on it and get a song out of it. I also like to watch people from a new perspective as a songwriter, rather than from a critical standpoint, make something funny about it. For instance, I'll go to the gym, and there'll be these young guys. They're maybe 35 years old, and they're walking by. And gyms have mirrors all over the place, and so they're watching themselves the whole time walking by. So the old me would have said, "Man, that guy's pretty vain." And now, when you start writing, you start thinking a little differently. I've heard that happens, and it actually does to me. So I'm looking at this guy walking by, and I'm thinking, at 40 years old, you should know what you look like already. he wouldn't take his eyes off himself. So I start seeing things like in a more offbeat, humorous way. But so when you find yourself relating to something the way the typical person does, the fact that it caught your attention in the first place, you got to do something that's not so typical with that. Well, another example. Am I stretching this out too far? Or?
No, you're fine.
Oh no!
Another example. We went somewhere. One of our favorite bands playing, and there's this young lady dancing, and she had a really nice dress that you would go to, you know, a nice party with, almost a formal, semi-formal party. But she had cowboy boots on, and they were kind of loud, colored cowboy boots. So I'm looking at that, and the first thought is, gee, that looks kind of odd. It doesn't match. Okay, so that's the critical me. And I say, no, there's a better way of looking at that. And you just kind of get used to that. And I'm saying, that's a cowgirl growing into what she's really supposed to be from the ground up. And then a story started popping in my head that as a kid, she was a barrel racer. And she moved to the city as a young girl because her family had a job transfer, and now she's starting to grow back out of her roots. So you just kind of look at things in an odd way, and so that's what's happening to my brain. If it keeps going and it stays relatively normal, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, see, that's pretty much how I do it when I write, because I write books, and when I write, it's funny because like this weekend we went hiking again in Huntsville, and we saw this hammock just hanging there. And I've actually started writing a story about this hammock because as I say, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
You start making stories up of what you think is happening at the time, or you see people sitting at a restaurant and you're like, I wonder what they're going through. Then you kind of make it up in your head, like, oh, then you have your set story. So you write your songs like that then.
Yeah.
Like stories.
Yeah, because I'm assuming it was an empty hammock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time we went, it was an empty hammock, and it was like, okay. So I'm going to write a story about this empty hammock and
Yeah.
why is it empty? Why is it just hanging there by itself?
See, that's what I would.
We know the answer to that.
Yeah.
It got freaking cold and they left.
Yes.
Unlike you, who stayed up in the mountains and froze your butt off. Papa,
Yeah.
you don't know the story behind it, but he went on like into the cold mountains of Texas, and he froze his butt off.
19-degree weather in a hammock.
Yeah, and how far did you guys go?
We walked 12 miles total.
See, now you just use that term, froze your butt off. Has anybody written a song about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be the literal ramifications of that if you wouldn't be able to sit down anymore? Yeah. So, once you belly up to the bar, you stay bellied up because you can't sit. And you give your stool. Even the hammock, somebody rolled out of that hammock down the hill. I would start looking for that fella.
Yeah.
Where he is. So,
all right, Papa Tommy, why don't we get your first song up and rolling? Carolyn, hopefully you hear us back there, and we're going to get up You Dirty Up real good.
Yep.
Play it. There we go. Nope.
You're a foreman on a construction job, and the owner of the company sends somebody to start working with you, and she happens to look like a Victoria's Secret model with maybe 10 or 15 pounds more of solid weight from working hard all life. So this song kind of suggests what you might be able to say and get away with if you find yourself in such a situation. Hopefully you are working. If you're in the construction trades, I'm hearing that those jobs are still going on. Doing all that site work. Backhoe expert, you even drive a skid steer. The way you handle and you tool around, all the more I want to keep you near. I look forward to each long hard day, just to watch you work with those blocks and wood. It's truly a compliment when I say, girl, you dirty up real good. Yeah, you dirty up real good. Sweaty, clean, you work clothes, and you're breathing heavy too. You know, I just smashed my thumb. I was looking over at you. You rarely drop anything, ain't nearly clumsy enough. Hell, take a cut pen just to watch you pick stuff up. No doubt you'd rock a little black dress or an evening gown. I know you would, but I've got to say, by the end of the day, girl, you dirty up real good. Yeah, you heard me. I said you dirty up real good. Some kind of partners in crime. I wonder about you in wedding dress, and if you'd say yes, be in mine. You look so fine, no matter what. Girl, you dirty up real good. Please excuse me, yeah, I know I stare more than I should. Wouldn't stop checking you out, even if I could. 'Cause you dirty up real good. I'm foreman on a construction job, and the owner of the company said,
Yay! Okay, we can clap now.
Thank
There we
you.
go.
I was afraid I'd have to listen to that again.
I love that guitar riff. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've had Sean Dickey popped on and said hello, and we got
Billy
I
Fleming.
love it. Yeah, Charles Smith, I love it! Explanation point.
Now, Billy Fleming says hello from the deep woods. Could he be the guy who fell out of the hammock?
No, just
Oh, okay, I just wonder. Yeah, because I mean it's been a while since you went camp hiking, so I'm just kind of concerned.
yeah.
I got a tickle out of what you were saying about the guys in the gym looking at themselves. I have to go through physical therapy, and we line up. Basically it's aerobics, and we got into this room, and we're all lined up, and the instructor was like, "You guys need to stagger so you can see yourselves in the mirror." And I was like, "No, I'm good right here. Yeah, I'm good right here. I'd rather look at the back of her than look at me in the mirror. No, it's not happening." So,
See, now there, I would have just when somebody tells me you should stagger, I would just go out to the nearest dive bar and accommodate them. That's all.
Yeah.
And write a song about it.
oh, that's too funny. Yeah.
So you're in Florida. You're retired in Florida.
Yes. Yeah. Southwest Florida.
Wow. Southwest. Yeah, that's in
near Fort Myers, Cape Coral, which is actually the second or third largest city in Florida, but it's so sparsely populated for a landmass that size. A lot of people don't hear about it, but it's like one of the top 5 cities people are coming to because it was kind of inexpensive to live in and kind of laid back. You know, it's a peninsula, so it's not as easy to get around different places, but it's still convenient to like Fort Myers Airport, which is a half hour, 45 minutes. So, you know, so it's been good. We've seen a lot of growth here, and I don't miss the cold weather.
I bet
we
not.
lived in the Adirondacks, close to Lake George, a place called Glens Falls, and we'd have temperatures as low as 35 on the thermometer, not even with a wind chill. And when people sell you property up there, they don't tell you that at around 30 below, the moisture on your eyes freezes when you go out. So like I went outside, I was wondering why I couldn't blink. I kind of, I started panicking a little bit until I realized what was happening. So you have to kind of squint your eyes and walk around and do whatever you got to do. And I was working on snowmobile trails at that time. So that wasn't fun.
You have to wear goggles basically to walk outside.
Yeah.
I can imagine having the water in my eyes freeze. I can't imagine that feeling.
You can't
Did you write
blink.
a song about it?
You can't blink. It's like your eyes are full of dust. It's not gritty, but your lids don't move.
Right.
Because they're too frozen. So like I ran in the house. It took me a while to realize what was happening, but it's kind of like when your nose sticks together, your nostrils. That'll happen at higher temperatures, but the moisture on your eyes freezes. I didn't write a song about that yet, and I don't really know why I didn't. But
well, bad memories. Get on that.
Maybe I'll make it a beach song, like a Jimmy Buffett type of thing, tie it all together.
That's because you liked getting to the quieter times,
Yes.
You can
do.
Play back. Did you like that segue?
That was pretty amazing, actually.
Carolyn, why don't you hook us up here, and we're gonna see the next video from Tom, getting to like the quieter times.
And she's just gonna sit there and stare at us with a still face.
Yep.
It's so funny. She's like, I'm gonna watch. Brett's supposed to be watching.
I wrote this song about a year or two ago. My wife, we were together for a long time. We're going to be married 50 years. I always played music real loud. I guess it's a guy thing. and she'd ask me to lower it, and it went on like that for a while. Now I'm starting to enjoy the volume turned down a little, so now I'm guessing it's an age thing. But starting to see it her way, getting to like the quieter times, and that's the name of this song. Cheering at a ballpark, get a hot dog loaded with stuff. You'd rather watch folks walking their dogs from a park bench. You say that's good enough. At a loud rock concert, favorite band bringing it on. You'd rather have your best friends over for snacks, drinks, maybe sing a few songs. Never guessed one day I'd see it your way, getting to like the quieter times. Simple things we do makes life more about me and you, getting to like the quieter times. Take a jet ski ride, make a lot of noise, make a lot of waves. You'd rather take the bikes out, wave to the neighbors and see on the way. I couldn't get you to stay in the noisy life I knew. It took a while, I got the picture, it just wasn't right for you. Never guessed one day I'd see it your way, getting to like the quieter times. Simple things we do makes life more about me than you, getting to like the quieter times. Take the world down low, bring it down low, getting to like the quieter times. Bring the world down low, take it down low, getting to like the quieter time.
Yay!
Thank
I
you.
love that guitar. The guitar playing is just so chill, relaxed, and mellow, and you just want to sit back and drink a margarita, a mojito, or something on the beach. That's the vibes I'm getting from it.
I think
My work is
Sean.
done here then.
Yeah, I think Sean's already trying to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about 3 drinks already or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he will be staggering once he gets about 3 more into him, I think.
So,
yeah, buddy. That's what he said. So,
it's so
but he-
funny is that we have this ongoing joke between me and Carolyn that she always interrupts me. It was funny right before the song started playing. I was talking. What did she do?
Oh,
Interrupted me. It's just
Well, so
Yeah.
no matter how sick she is, she's able to interrupt you.
oh yeah, that's
Wow.
Carolyn.
Yeah, that's like almost like a superpower when you can do that. You can be
Yeah.
sick. That song is on Reverb Nation. I
Yeah,
recently redid it because I felt it needed more of a lift in the melody line of the chorus, because I pitched it a couple of days ago. So I said I really got to work on some of these other songs. Something you don't notice, especially if you're kind of lyrics oriented when you write. I do both simultaneously, but if the lyrics come first, you kind of tend, I don't know if it's laziness or what, but you just kind of keep the pattern, the chord pattern or the melody pattern pretty close, even when you hit the chorus. So I felt I needed a big a big jump to kind of go keep in line with the way things are done. I guess they've always been that way. I just never noticed, but you hear that a lot. Critiques on your songs, a lift in the chorus, that sort of thing.
Right.
Amongst
I've
other
been
things.
hearing that a lot lately about lifting, and I have no music theory experience at all. And listening to Jerry and Carolyn talk, and we had Sharice Carver on talking about the lifts. And I'm like, I guess the lift is like a high point in the song. So I'm starting to pick up on all this little music lingo.
Yeah, I'm 5'6", so when people talk about lifts, the first thing I think of is what goes in your shoes. But I had to kind of rethink a lot of things. But and see, I'm sure at least some songwriters out there, when you have to do that, oftentimes you have to actually drop the verses in your song, maybe even come up with a different melody line if your range is kind of limited. So because if you want to lift at your chorus, but you're already at close to your top end during the verses, you're not going to do it unless somebody gives you a wedgie at the key points.
Well, it's funny because it was just recently Sharice did the same thing. She said, listen, and she got with me offline. She said, listen, this really could use a lift right here, change to these chords. And she kind of played it and sang it real quick. I mean, it took Sharice like that long to make it happen. And I kind of was like, well, Sharice, I can't do that. I mean, my range goes like from here to here. You have a range like this, so it is putting some lifts in. For me, I have to start really low in order to get up.
Well, if you don't mind working on songs, a lot of writers are constantly reworking them. But if you were at the top end of your vocal limit during the chorus, you're already belting it out. It sounds you're putting a lot of heart in it. So that's all people would expect of you. So just maybe revisit the verses and take the melody line in your verses and use a lower harmony part as your melody line. And, you kind of do something like that if you want to put the work in on it. Have you had any gold records yet, Jerry, or platinum?
No, but we are.
When you do that, you drop the verses.
We are debuting a song tomorrow, though. That will be fun. Sean keeps putting in dynamics, giving the song dynamics. Yes, it's giving the song dynamics, Sean.
Sean must know all those newfangled terms, That's probably why he comes up with it. He the guy who had the 3 drinks?
Yeah, but I think he's at the point where he's leaving the empties on the bar now.
The master of the segue. Look at that.
Yes, which takes us to our next song, which is called "Leave the Empties on the Bar."
Yeah.
Leave the what? Leave the empties or the empties?
Okay, I have dry mouth tonight. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Empties on the bar.
Okay, I thought there was like an empathy, like leave the empathies on the bar. I don't know. I thought there was a little.
That's another song right there.
Yeah.
I'm empathetic on your empathies.
Yes.
So,
You get numb. You don't care about anything.
That's how true that is.
Oh, I'm not even sure we have Carolyn anymore because I've introduced the song twice and we're not going there yet. So.
On the bar, need to see how many I drank so far. You could say I'm keeping score. How many till I don't hurt anymore. Lying those long necks on the bar, I need a reference point to see how far from my path I can get. Still too close, 'cause I remember, bartender, it's not that much I'm asking for, one for every My bitterness has hurt before. Could you leave the empties on the bar? Oh, those peanuts far away. I lost my appetite for days from the bitter taste of life, while chewing on my sorrow. Come closing time, my bill gets paid. Then you can erase this mess I've made. I'll stare till dawn and my mistakes start counting. Here again tomorrow, bartender, it's not that much I'm asking for. One for every loved one my bitterness has hurt before. Could you leave the empties on the bar? Bartender, let the butter stay. Reflections of my life today. Not much I'm asking for. Could you leave the empties on the bar? Bartender, it's your job, I understand. You play a role as cleanup man. But one more round, I think it's best. Help me erase my other mess.
There we go. Outstanding job.
That one line about the bitterness.
Yeah.
I can't remember. For bitterness for every person that I've heard. That was like, that was crazy. I like that line.
Yeah. Thank you.
Charles
So-
Smith says, I'd love to be able to play the guitar like that.
I know it's just so
like
free
this.
flowing and relaxing.
Yeah, it's funny because the way we have this set up, let you know, Tom, is that as we join, like Paul and I, we get on, but on our Facebook, this is also playing as a live on our pages. So if you go to my page, it's there live. If you go to Carolyn's page, it's there live. Go to Paul's page, it's there live. So I went back and checked real quick to see, because not everything's popping up here because it's popping up on my page. Anyway, we got a few people out there. I got my sister Linda says loves it. Sandy Scarborough says you sound like Jim Croce. I was like, that's quite a compliment.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming from
Yeah,
Sandy.
certain songs I sing, I get that, and other times not so much.
that what would you consider your genre to be? Because you have kind of a tropical sound. You have kind of a that last song had a little bit of a country sound.
Yeah.
Or do you put yourself in a box?
No, I really can't, because, well, like we were talking before, I came up right through doo-wop. I have some songs like that. Everything I've been exposed to musically, it just kind of winds up in the songs. Some of my rhythm patterns are pretty tropical reggae, more than like say trop rock like Jimmy Buffett stuff. This is more reggae. And, we've been going to the Bahamas for about 20 years, and I write a lot of my songs there, just hanging out. You get a lot of time, and so that kind of comes out. But I mean, a lot of my stuff on Reverb Nation would be considered blues or jazz. So I'm really all over the place. At 75, I still haven't found myself. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I see Amanda Easter popped in and said,
Yeah.
She oh,
I feel like
I did a Dr. John song. Steamy Stuff. If you wanna, after he passed away, I wrote a song in his style. It's called Steamy Stuff. It's on Reverb, on my Reverb Nation page. So you might like
Talk,
that.
Talking about that, what is your Reverb Nation page? How do people find you? Maybe
Well,
Carolyn can type it up on the screen.
yeah, reverbnation.com/Papa Tommy, PAPATOMMY, and it'll take you right there to the page. It's two.
Okay.
I think I don't know if they have it one or two separate words as Papa Tommy, but it's reverbnation.com/Papa Tommy. It'll come up anyway if you Google that. Either way.
Yeah, and you have, how many songs do you have on Reverb Nation?
On there, I think it was the last time I counted was around 140.
Yeah.
And I just don't take. I'm a hoarder, you know. You go in somebody's house, they have boxes all around. I just keep piling the stuff on there, you know. The ones toward the bottom probably have some mold on them. I'm afraid to check, really. So.
Talking about with your style, who would you say, who or what would you say has been your biggest influences when it comes to your music?
There again, I wouldn't call it an individual so much as a style of music. I liked Motown a lot, although that creeps into some of the stuff that I didn't post here. I used to like Harry Belafonte. I don't know if a lot of people know him, maybe now as an actor and an activist, but he used to do calypso music, but the Banana Boat song, Day-O, and I liked a lot of his stuff. And I was in when I lived in Brooklyn, because I was playing at a very early age. It was very ethnically diverse. So there were a lot of people. We had a lot of people coming from Puerto Rico. And I don't know if they had just become a territory then, or it was before statehood. So in our neighborhood, there were a lot of people from Puerto Rico, and the bongo drums, the maracas, stuff like that. So we're all playing stuff together. And so I really can't pin it down to any one individual. Gladys Knight, if I had to say my favorite singer, a female singer, would be Gladys Knight. But I hurt myself trying to sing her song, so I don't do that. I just listen.
I see that
we had that link that just popped up that said it was wrong. It popped up as Poppy Tama. Tommy.
PAPATOMMY. Is
right.
the name on top of the? I see it on top of my picture in the small frame, but
right.
Yeah.
I actually I sent the link to Carolyn so she can actually copy and paste into it.
Yeah, that one, isn't it? It's pop, not
Papa.
PAPA. PAPA.
Yeah, I don't know why that one's over there. That's the wrong one.
Yeah,
I sent her the right one.
But
hopefully, if they go to that guy's site, his stuff might be better than mine. So everybody wins. In fact, I'm going to go visit him after we're done.
Well, neither you nor I have made it really big. And I think part of that is we haven't lived the right life. I mean, I see you've been married since 1970. I got married in 1979, and we're still married to the same person.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I keep telling my wife I need to become famous, so I'm going to have to kick her out and start, flaunting around. And she said, you rock on with your bad self.
Yes.
So
when she shoots you, could we write a song about that?
Yeah, the thing is that she's got me broke in. I wouldn't want to start this process all over again. I think. But saying that, who do you think, or who do you feel has been or is your biggest supporter?
My wife. It takes a certain kind of person to recognize your brain doesn't work the same as anyone else's when you write. I wasn't like that initially, but just something kind of happens to you. Most people forget a clever line when it comes to you initially. It's just the way you probably would like to write it down. If you don't get to a paper and pencil real quick, you might remember the gist of it, but it didn't have that flow that when it first hit you. And so when my wife sees me pick up the phone, I have a notepad app there, and I start typing stuff. She doesn't talk. or anytime I'm doing that. So there's a lot of liberty there. Working, 1 o'clock in the morning on music. Not that she hears it, but I'm just not around a lot. I'm in the house, but yeah, you have to keep a balance. If you watch my, your Facebook friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got Wing Wednesday. You got to do certain traditional things. Wednesday is our day to go for wings, and Sunday we go to listen to our favorite bands. So if there was ever a contract out on my life, they would have no problem finding where I am at any given time. But I write in between. So
yeah, the same way when I write my stories, I get that idea and I just need to write it down.
Yeah.
What I've learned is there are some stories that I get in my head that I just sort of get the idea and I just let it bounce around for a few days and see what happens with it. But there are other ones that I wish I would have written down because I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that my wife does get quite upset with me and my music at times. Now, if I opened up these curtains, you'd see I've got two 1,500 watt powered speakers that I've got connected to my console. And she told me the next time I crank it up enough that the neighbors complain, which we live out in the country, by the way, that she was going to cut the strings off my electric guitar. But no, that's really kind of why I've got this booth that I operate out of, is because, it is. And I say she complains sometimes. She's really not that bad. But there have been times where she says, I have heard that same verse. When you're in that writing process, she said, I've heard that same verse 15 times. Can you move on? So, and she'll do, I told you,
Yeah.
or if I told you once, I've told you 100 times. You like that segue too? Papa Tommy's next song is "If I Told You." So
I told you.
I told you. The man.
This one is about, let's say, a young fella trying to meet a girl, and he's not real good at it. He's just kind of a shy person, but what he says might seem very sincere, and it is. Also, the pickup artist probably could mimic that type of thing, but how the conversation ends is probably the determining factor. When he hears thanks but no thanks, the two people will act a little differently at the end. The song is called "If I Told You." I call it the Shy Guy song for the most part. If I told you you had pretty eyes, and if I told you you got a beautiful smile, would you think it was just another pickup line? And if I told you I'm usually shy, and if I told you you're out of my league, would you think to yourself, why do I get this all the time? To you these might be tight cliches, but I don't have some other way. I can dream up something new that might sound refreshing to you. If I told you I've had my heart broken, and if you told me you've had the same, could we spend some time together, show each other how to love again? And if I told you what you need to hear, and I strike the chord deep within, would you feel better about me? away. I can't dream up something new that might sound refreshing to you. I'm no smooth operator, charisma's not the thing. Truth will always work for me, no lies to bring me shame. Until you get to know me, we can start real slow. You get to see what's in my heart, and we'll see where this could go. So you can believe what I told you. But if you told me you can't be bothered, there's nothing more I'd say. I'll simply walk away.
Wow. Because if I told you, that sounds so cool. I like the way that went. So when you write these songs, do you just like get the whole song in your head? Do you just get like a verse and you sort of just write with that one verse that you came up with, or what's the
We
process for that?
it varies, and any way it comes, I kind of welcome it. Sometimes it'll be a hook, so which often winds up being the title of the song. In this case, it was more of imagining a guy who was shy, and he had no approach, he had no game, as they say, and
Right.
like how he would handle that. So I start roughing out the story then. Where does it start? Where does it lead to? And then where does it end? What's an appropriate wrap up? So his shyness is, in this case, is evidenced by the fact that he's not pushy at the end. If you know you don't want to hear anymore, I'll beat it. Whereas somebody else might be a little more insistent. So that song came about that way. The Dirty Girl, it was a girl, you dirty up real good, so you clean up good. And sometimes you just think of something, and it comes with a cadence. Here in Florida, it in the summertime, almost like clockwork, it rains, and I'd say around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Big storm clouds come in and rains for a couple of hours, and that's when you see these really beautiful sunsets that are in the postcards. Those are in the summertime when most people aren't here. So I plant that time of the year so I don't have to water. I plant at the beginning of that season. And so like I'm looking outside and expecting the newly planted little green things we're going to get some water, and it didn't rain. So I just said, what do you know? It doesn't look like it's going to rain today. What do you know? It doesn't look like it's going to rain today. So it just had a cadence to it. So you listen to your thoughts, you listen to you're talking to yourself, which I do more often now. And another thing, listen, I tend to try to listen really carefully when a songwriter says something or writes just some kind of any kind of comment at all. I'm not trying to be creative, but it comes out a certain way. And oftentimes I don't think they even realize it. They think in hooks. It's almost like. So I watch when a songwriter just writes something on Facebook, and it's a little more poetic than most people would say it, and I'll grab hold of that, and I give them no credit at all when I write the song. So
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Christine Beam asked a question: do you blueprint first, or let your lyrics lead you to create the story as it goes? It sounds like you're more of a builder than a planter.
Yeah, I don't blueprint too much, but you wind up doing that pretty early on in the process. Once you get the hook, you kind of have to put bones around it, and then you lay out, how do I get to that hook? Should it be at the end of the maybe a pre-chorus somewhere in there, or just bring it up to the chorus, or start with it? I'll blueprint after a while, and I don't take any process in the songwriting. I don't take it too far without introducing something I'm going to have to work on later, because it's like painting yourself into a corner. say you got the hook and you start fleshing out these lyrics, start building around it. I'm going to take something that has that cadence I was talking about and try to assign it at least some kind of a melody. If it's the hook, try hopefully something strong that has a little impact. And so I'll start building out from there. I never let anything go too far. If I have a riff I'm playing on the guitar, I'll play it over and over again until it starts suggesting words. It kind of talks to you. It's like hearing a machine. I don't know if you ever had that happen. A machine makes certain noises, and after a while it starts talking to you.
Right.
I don't want to get you scared. I think everybody goes through this. They just don't want to admit it. But you
You know,
start hearing.
I go through it.
Yeah.
I go through it all the time with my writing.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I love having people on here to discuss their process because it lets everybody else know that gets inside of a writer's head and lets them see that maybe they have these thoughts as well, but they probably think themselves as being crazy, but no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's
Yeah.
you have to go through this process to get these wonderful songs and these books out and these words, and when you put those words on paper, there's no telling what could happen with that, and it's amazing.
You probably, I'm guessing you just veered into something that, like, if you question your own sanity and what you're thinking, not that it's a crazy thought, but it's just a little offbeat, and
Right.
you would dismiss it, then you're cutting short the creative process. You write it down anyway, and
Right.
if you look at it and you say, if somebody else reads this, I'm going to get committed.
Yeah.
Maybe you should tone it down a bit. But just everything that comes, it's like a kid, a toddler. They're singing. They're not singing any words. They can barely talk. They're making sounds, or if they do something rhythmically on a toy, they just discover, wow, this toy makes a certain sound, and it's not a musical toy, and then they start pounding on it. It's kind of going that direction. Just try to act like a grown-up in the process, but
Right.
whatever comes your way, just write it down, or ponder it a little bit, and realize just how insane you really are, I guess.
Well, we talk about this both as writers of songs and as writers of stories. I remember going to a writing workshop years ago, and they talk about the difference between being a planter, someone that has the seed and just lets it grow, let the plant grow, or being a builder, somebody that figures out how the story's going to go. Now, when you're talking more along the lines of storytelling or story writing, or short stories or what have you, what I found is that the more you plan that out, the more you are that builder that does the blueprints, the less editing you do at the end. But the more you let it just grow and take its own course, the more editing you're going to have to do. And it kind of goes the same way with me on songwriting. Usually something has inspired me to write, and I'll just go. But I'll have a billion, well, I'm exaggerating, 100 words too many for the song.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where am I going to start cutting everything? And after a while, you kind of go, I forgot what I was doing,
Yeah.
So you kind of walk away from it at times. I find anyway, I've got to walk away from it because I get so wrapped up into it. And it's like, man, and like my wife says, I've heard that same verse now for 15 times because I'll start back at the beginning and start going over and over and over again. But it's an interesting process, and I think it depends. I always say that we create with the right side of our brain, which is the creative side, and we edit with the left side, which is the more the analytical side. On the other side, I'm not sure Paul has a left side.
I'm just straight up crereative.
Well, I'm ambidextrous, so I don't know where I fall. I throw lefty, I bat righty, I swing an axe lefty, I swing a golf club right. So I don't know if I guess that relates to the analytic side, creative side, whatever. Just adds to the confusion. So I try not to think about that.
Yeah. You can go down that rabbit hole of thinking how everything works instead of just doing it.
Yeah.
Overthinking. Absolutely. I did want to say just a couple of words. It's about time for us to wrap up. We don't have an author. Oh, by the way, Paul, I want to get with you because I have an author that's been
Okay, awesome.
talking to
Awesome.
me, and so I'll push that your way. But before we go, I do want to just ask everyone tonight if they would say a prayer for those in Ukraine, but also say a prayer for our people. We have a lot of people deployed right now, and whether they're in Poland or where they're at on the border. Uh, I know in Fort Bragg, there's a lot of people gone. We can't talk numbers, of course, but there's a lot of people that are gone. I had a friend of mine she let me know that her husband's been gone for a while, and just found out that they just did an indefinite, so nobody knows when they're coming home. So
Yeah,
if you would,
and that unfortunately is the part of being in the military is that life, and it's bad sometimes whenever you're away for so long. But
it is, and it's hard. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to share a poem that I had written back when I was in the military. And it's really a prayer, uh, and that's one of the things I like about Carolyn's show. She doesn't back away from the Lord. She's okay with it. So um, it's called the leadership prayer. Father, I need strength and guidance to do the job I've been called to do. Each day I may have to send my people in harm's way, knowing what they'll go through. Looking into their eyes, I can tell they know some may not return. Still they go. They perform beyond their years, often taking on jobs they do not know. For the loved ones who have left, they will spend far too many days alone. I cannot even say for certain when those who are deployed will return home. As they are all pushed past their limits, please grant them the strength and resolve to carry through. Please grant me the insight and ability to help and do the best I can do. Father, I have great faith, for I know you love them. Your love for them is greater than my own. Please help them to understand and see their importance even when they're all alone. Amen. Uh, and yeah, really, let's just hope that our leaders understand this and please grant them the insight to know what to do because everybody's in a tough position right now. Uh, so I appreciate that.
But
And I
where we
don't
go
have my
from
Air Force. I don't have my Air Force flag behind me tonight, so I'm sorry.
No, I saw that. I was like, what happened to your normal flag? That's crazy.
I had a sick granddaughter home today, and
Ah,
she grabbed it for a blanket, and then she got sick. So no, it's in the
it's
dryer. So,
Well, I
yeah. See,
appreciate all the nice comments that I've been seeing, reading. I don't really know how to respond to any of them, but
it's hard to respond on here. You basically have to have a separate, like, you have to bring up your Facebook page and watch a video separately, and
yeah,
then you can respond that way. But yeah, I mean, and this is the great part of the show that we do is we have interaction with our with the people that watch,
yeah,
and they give such great feedback, and and if they hear something great, they're gonna say it. And and that's why we always come on here, and we basically want to say what they're basically saying. Great job, Pop, from Anthony. And I agree. Then I end up with 3 separate songs. That was Christina.
yeah. Christine Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and keep hold on to them, and usually wind up with 3 partials a day. And you discard some later, but it was just nice seeing, all the positive comments. Basically, I started reading it. I was looking for death threats, but that
No,
didn't. So I'm happy about that.
you will never get a death threat on this show. If you get a death threat on the show, there's some type of someone from a country throwing some stuff in there, which we've had. We've had some
Yeah.
Russian from YouTube, the Russian language, but no one can read it. So
Yeah.
And we're like, what the heck is this? It's probably some type of spam or something that someone's trying to throw at us.
Yeah, right away you go to Russian. It could be alien, you know.
Oh yeah, you
The
never know.
motherships are out there. You just can't.
Well, I tell you what, guys. Why don't we wrap this up?
Thank you.
And the way we will go out is Carolyn's going to play Sharice's song one more time. Give me a minute before you close us out, Carolyn.
Yeah, don't close out yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll do this. Would you like to any last words, Paul? Ooh, that's
I would actually say
last words.
last words, yeah. So I put the link over here. It's the reverbnation.com/PAPAPOMMY.
Yes.
So that's how you basically can find his music. I already have it saved on my I've never heard of Reverb Nation before, but I now have it saved so I can. Do you happen to have songs on Spotify, or you just do Reverb Nation?
Just Reverb Nation. I don't sell anything. I just post it up there for people to listen to. Just stream it. So I don't have things all around the place. Just that one spot.
Awesome. So now that I have it on there, I'm going to save that page because I've never heard of that page before in my life.
Oh, I think Reverb Nation was prior to Spotify. I think.
Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah.
So
No,
for
good.
us old, you're not quite as old as we are, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's funny because it was funny that Papa Tommy was basically saying that he was almost 75, and my dad just turned 74. So a lot of the music that I was inspired by and throughout my life, I listened to from my dad, which was like the Vietnam era songs, 50s, 60s, the 70s.
Yeah.
And I've listened to all that, and I love that music. As a matter of fact, I listen on Spotify. I'll bring up 60s, and I'll just listen to 60s all day long. And my wife is like, "Why are you listening to the old music?" I love it. I love that music. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I listened to it from when I was a kid, but I just love it.
You have an old soul. That's what it is.
I guess so.
You listen to sync music in some commercials. You're catching a lot of older songs, and I don't know if younger people are listening to it and say, "Gee, that's pretty catchy. What is that?" But I hear a lot of sync music coming out of older genres, and because people are telling you, "Oh, you got to write for the sync industry. That's the way to go." And I'm hearing a lot of old stuff, Motown stuff, and
right.
Not too much country, but yeah, just a lot in there. So
okay, and guys, if you could say a prayer for Carolyn, we certainly want her back on her feet soon.
She kind of surprised us with this whole thing. She was trying to call me. She was freaking out. She's like, "I have to cancel the show. I don't know if I'm going to cancel it or not." And I'm like, she's like, "Well, do that." I'm like, "Calm down, Carolyn. We'll get through it. We're used to flying by the seat of our pants. This is what we're used to doing. I mean, we're gonna figure it out."
You got pants on. I mean, I thought this was a
shirt only show. Yeah.
She told me don't show up with no shirt, sitting in your bed eating cheese
Cheetos. Yeah.
Cheetos. So I had to come up with this thing.
No, but it was awesome having you. I love the music. I love the tone. The stories were awesome. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing with us and about your process and how you write.
And tomorrow night we will have Crystal Hot, or better known as her artist name will be Christoria. She will be sharing some songs with us, and she just won. Well, I want to give it away. She just won a major award here recently, and we'll also have the debut of Reboot, which is a song that was produced and written by yours truly. So,
awesome.
With a lot of help from Sharice telling me where I need to put my lifts in. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. And just remember, everybody, share that, share it out to everyone. That way everybody can actually find Papa's music and Jerry's music, now that he's actually starting to share some of his stuff, and the book of poetries, the book of poems that he's actually written. Because the only way we can actually get the word out is by sharing around the world. That way everyone can actually enjoy this as well, just as much as we enjoy listening to new stuff, because being in South Texas, like I said, we don't get to hear stuff in in New York, or and like Carolyn and I were talking about, it's like people in the shadows, and we like to call them people in the shadows because no one ever sees or hears from them. And when they come on the show, that it shares out to everybody, and anyone who listens can get on there and listen to this music and really enjoy it. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, Jerry, Papa, everybody, and Carolyn in the background, not being seen.
Yeah, Carolyn, why don't you close us out with one of Sharice's songs?
Awesome.
For us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for making me feel at home.
Yeah.
Jesse Johnston had a flat tire down on Chickleberry Road. We heard he lost 3 cows that night when his barbed wire fence fell from the storm. We got a crew together, fixed the fence and found the herd. It was time to have a party down in the south on Chickleberry Road. We drink beer on Fridays, play those guitars through the night, sing out loud way on Sundays, teach our children wrong from right. BB guns to Remingtons, we grow into our rifles. We live by Southern gospel, yeah. Guitars, guns, and Bible. Jesse got married the next day, we all gathered at the church. As a gift, we put a new gun rack in the window of his truck. The preacher said, let's all bow our heads and bless him with a prayer. Then Amazing Grace came down, as gospel music filled the air. We drink beer on Fridays, play those guitars through the night, sing out loud way on Sundays, teach our children wrong from right. BB guns to Remingtons, we grow into our rifles. We live by Southern gospels, yeah. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. We moved the party to the Johnston farm down off Chickleberry Road. There was still blueprints planted in the mud from the night before. We used the bed of the trucks for chairs, played a guitar family show. It was time to hoop it up down in the south on Chickleberry Road. We drink beer on Fridays, play those guitars through the night, sing out loud way on Sundays, teach our children wrong from right. Hallelujah. BB guns to Remingtons, we grow into our rifles. We live by Southern gospels, yeah. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. We live by Southern gospels, yeah. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. Hallelujah. Guitars, guns, and Bibles. Guitars, guns, and Bibles, yeah.
And I guess this is where she's